Bish bash bosh, we're live. Claire Khaw, welcome back. It's been a long time. How long has it been? Like 4 weeks or something?
Yes, it's been a while.
Been a long
How was
time.
your holiday?
Well, before we get to that, I'd just like to say to everybody, sorry that I've been gone. Well, I'm not sorry that I've been gone at all. I've had a good time. I've had a great time. But sorry if you've missed me. I guess that's your fault. Don't get too attached. But I'm back. I have really bad jet lag since I've come back, so I'm not sleeping on a night. So it's been a bit difficult to get back into the groove of doing anything on YouTube. But I'm kind of getting there now. Anyway, this stream is just going to be about my holiday, so I fully appreciate if you don't want to listen to it. I'm not sure I'd want to listen to somebody else's holiday, but that's all it's about. So don't expect any riveting political content. I think we're just going to talk about me being in America, etc. And I've got my photos to share, Claire, if you want to look at them.
Well, we saw a
Don't.
few videos of you with some black woman dancing in Las Vegas on Twitter.
I wasn't with this lady, of course, so that one will be in there. That one will be in there. So I'll share the photos at some point. I've got them ready. It's always a bit dangerous when I do this. So basically, just before the stream, very quickly, this is like my personal photo. So I would just kind of whizzed through and tried to remove any that would doxing me. But hopefully, I've succeeded. There's always a danger to make an error when doing something like this. But anyway, yeah. So those will be in there, I imagine, when we get to it.
That's
Yeah.
Gatwick, isn't it? Or not?
No, it was Manchester.
Manchester.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, let me just quickly double check that I did remove all the ones with my face in there. I think. How have you been anyway? What have you been up to for the last couple of weeks? In brief, what's new?
Well, I got all these ideas and new leads, and just basically, I sense a change in the air. People knowing about me, even though I've never met them before. So it's like, what's secular Koranism? And then somebody answers, like, I don't even know who they are, but they know what it is. So that's very heartening. And yeah, I've just got more arguments, but unfortunately, people aren't moved by arguments. But let me just say that I was in a 4-hour stream with Vincent yesterday about gay culture, and it's great. And Stephen listened to it all the way through and enjoyed it very much, didn't you, Stephen?
I said I probably wasn't going to admit to this publicly in the pre-show, Claire. So now you've just outed it. But yeah, look, I was saying to Claire, look, I used to be. I've become since much more desensitized, and this isn't necessarily a good thing to this kind of stuff that Vincent and Claire, mainly Vincent, talks about. And I mean, as radical and shocking as it is, there is an element to it that is like watching a reality TV show, of radically different lives that is fascinating, and is, in a way is entertaining to be like a fly on the wall too. And that was one of those streams. The kinds of things that he talks about getting up to, the kinds of things that would have made my skin crawl listening to this like 2 years ago, and I would have been very reactive towards it. But now I'm just like, whoa, this is just fascinating in like an anthropological way.
Yes, and we've all become cultural anthropologists now, and
Yes.
And basically, it's just Vincent saying, "What's happened to gay men? We're no longer like gay men of the sort that I knew when I was in my youth. We have turned into women who slut shame each other. This will not do." Etc. So those of you who are interested in gay culture, even if you're not really, you should listen to it all the way through.
Yeah, it's a fascinating show. Yeah, it's really interesting when Vincent does these shows and the kinds of characters that he randomly attracts into his streams,
Yeah,
particularly
and
from Twitter.
there were two gay men who didn't quite agree with his idea of gay breeding, and I thought, well, at least they're sensible, gay men. And but I've been nagging him for quite a while to say, look, I actually don't want some, masculine he-man, white man promoting secular Koranism, because predictably they're all going to get frightened. But if Vincent promotes it, then they'll go, "Oh, it's not so scary. What do you mean?" And they'll ask more questions. But if you get some, hulking He-Man promoting secular Koranism, I'm afraid that would actually not be what I want. So that's my new lead, a new idea that I was going to mention to you.
Fascinating stuff. Anyway, yeah, it's a fascinating stream. Particularly, but a Saudi Arabian
They're really
closeted,
annoying.
I guess,
They join your stream and
homosexual
then
man
yeah,
appears.
and it's stuffed with gay men anyway. And then they say, "Oh, you recorded that space. Can you please delete it because they might come and get me and throw me in jail and whatever." And I did it
I think you
for the
should think
first
about
time. The
that
second
before
time they did it, I
before
said
joining.
no.
Yeah.
The Jordanians are also a bit like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's illegal over there. They get their. Well, I don't know what happens. What actually happens in somewhere like Saudi Arabia if you get caught for just like the online thing? I imagine if you get caught actually bombing somebody in a in a house party, you might get your willy chopped off or something. But what
Well, they're
actually happens is like.
liberalising now. They're
But what
liberalising.
if
They have
that guy is
concerts and
caught?
things.
But what if he's like his internet service provider discovers that he's been talking to Vincent on a live stream about being a homo? Do you think they will come and get him and
I have
give
no
him some
idea.
lashes?
But a lot of Saudis say, imams, Islamic scholars who have the wrong interpretation of the Quran get thrown in jail. So I think because the mood is to liberalize, they it's political religious statements that are more liable to get you into trouble than being naughty with your sex organs.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, too much. Enough of that. Enough of that stuff. Let's talk about my holiday. Then that's what we came for, isn't it?
Yes. And
So
we're
yes,
at
it was.
Manchester Airport about to take off.
Yeah, let's look at some photos then, eh? Like I said, if you just come in, this is just going to be a stream about my holiday. So if you don't care about that, bugger off, and that's absolutely fine. I'm sure there's far more interesting things to do on a Friday night. So it was June the 19th when I set off, and I got back on election day. Went from Manchester, of course, on a Virgin plane, which was quite good. I'd paid for the upgrade. So
you win business class.
no. There's two levels, isn't there? First class is just beyond that bulkhead there. And it's not much different to this is premium. These are
right.
bigger seats, they're leather. and you have more leg room. Just up ahead, it is. You don't get a lay down bed or anything. Because I had to walk up and had a good look round. But you don't get a lay flat bed. You just have. It's a bit bigger compartment. You can really stretch your legs, and there's like a low side wall that comes across there. So like where you're looking at this person with their arm here, there'll be like a side wall over there that you can open out and get out. But that's about it. It's nothing special.
Is the lighting purple, or is it some trick of the light?
I'm colorblind, so you tell me.
Well, I mean, it looks a bit
Yeah.
purple, like you're in some
Right.
kind of, whorehouse or something.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, that's probably just the camera. Weird. But yeah. So yeah, it was a good flight. Something like 11 hours to get there, I think it was. 10 hours or something. So there's like an hour into the flight, and there's 9 hours to go. So something like 10 hours. For whatever reason, it's an hour less coming back.
It's the turn of the Earth, sort of thing.
Right.
Because I think it's the Earth turns from left to right or whatever, and obviously go one of the ways will be kind of it's like swimming against the current or swimming with
That
the
is
current
interesting.
kind of idea.
That is interesting. Flat earthers debunked then just by this plane journey alone, I guess. Yeah. So
Did you
anyway,
watch
this
any
is my
interesting movies?
No, I did not. I hate movies, so movies don't entertain me. But there were plenty of them there. I just couldn't be bothered with movies. What I had tried to do initially was download some podcasts to take with me. Like I thought, what could I listen to? I know I haven't listened to. I enjoy Black Pill's content, Devon Stack on Odyssey, right? Because he does something like 3 hour streams, and each one is on a topic. Okay, and
What's his
so
name
he'll pick
again?
Black Pilled. It's
Black Pill.
he's no
Okay.
his suit. I don't think it's his real name. His pseudonym is Devon Stack, and his channel name is Black Pilled, and each stream that he does, he puts research into it, and then he gives a topic. He'll talk about a topic. So often, like when I've been working and things, and I can have an earphone in, I'll pre-download something like that. I know it's good for like 3 or 4 hours. Take it with me, listen, and I've got something that's just you can just listen. You can just listen to, and you're just being entertained for at least a couple of hours of somebody talking about a topic that's to do with like I don't know, being red pilled or being a wig nut, that kind of stuff, and it's entertaining. So I thought I'll download some of those, but I did it. I thought I'd done it on the laptop, and each one of the downloads hadn't completed, so I couldn't listen to anything on the plane. I had literally nothing to do apart from stare at this fucking map for 11 hours. And like you said, I could have watched a film, but that would have been more boring to my ADHD. I don't know why, so I just stared at this fucking map in front of me, watching the plane, basically the entire way, and people watched around the cabin. So yeah, so that's the flight basically. Yeah.
Did you chat to any of your fellow passengers?
No, plane cabins are really loud. So you can't really talk to somebody. Like if you look at this photo here, like the person just here to my right, for instance, like I was here on the end, and then there's the window to the left. Just trying to talk to this person is impossible. You have to yell, and then they're like, "What? You said what?" So that's what it's like on an aeroplane.
Oh,
So you
so
can't
it's
really
just
do
one
that.
person on your side? Usually there's two, right? There's two people on the window seat,
Yeah,
or at least
I
two
was
people.
on I was on the aisle end, and then there was a person to my left. Who I was leaning over to take these photos out of the window, for instance.
I see that you were on an Airbus. That must have been a relief. It wouldn't have been very nice to know that you were on a Boeing.
On a Boeing, yeah. Because of the memes of them all having technical problems at the moment. Yeah, I used to be much more concerned about flying, but over the last year, this is another thing. Over the last year, I've watched when I've been trying to sleep. There's channels of people. Have you seen any of these? There's people who just record taking off and landings of planes at an airport. Have you seen these YouTube channels by any
No,
chance?
no, I didn't know they existed. I mean,
They're
I know at the
extremely
observation
popular.
gallery, I mean, you get, all these people with their notebooks saying, ooh, this is a number, what's it, taking off, coming down, whatever. So you get these anoraks doing this sort of thing, taking down the
Well, that
numbers, whatever.
well, what you're talking about is something old style. That has completely transformed now into they are live video feeds from, for instance, Manchester Airport, or hold on, or from like, look here, Manchester Airport 4K live plane spotting, and it's had 23,000 views. These streams are incredibly popular. The one from Heathrow is much more popular, right? But it's just people who go,
Charge that for 10. Yeah.
they
Wow.
turn up and they just film planes taking off and landing. And there's something incredibly soothing about it, actually. So, like, for the past year when I couldn't sleep, I've often put these on. And this has desensitized me to being worried about flying, actually. Because you realize just how many planes are taking off and landing all day, every day. Like, they're literally landing every 30 seconds and taking off. So this desensitized me to flying, basically, having done that over the last year. So I didn't care at all. I actually really enjoyed the flights in a weird way, in a masochistic way. Yeah. I'll just look back at the chat, because I'm having to switch between another window to share these photos. Jay Walker asks, how long is a one-way flight to Malaysia?
Well, it depends on which flight you take and how many stopovers you have. He can
It's
always
about
find out himself.
the same as a flight to Thailand, which was about 12 hours, I think. Was it?
Yeah, I mean, the cheaper the flight, the more stops you have to make.
Yeah.
And then you can have the excitement of nearly missing your connection.
Yeah, a direct flight to Thailand, yeah, I was right. It's 12 hours, 15 minutes, so... Within 12 hours, we could get Claire Khaw back to Malaysia to make Malaysia great again.
Not before I make America great again.
Yes. Oh dear. All right. Anything else have I missed? By the way, if you sent me any messages and stuff, and I didn't respond to you, I'm really sorry about that. I know there's a few people who did, and I probably forgot to get back to anyone. to a few people. So I'm sorry about that if I have done that. I am ADHD and stuff like that.
So
It's
in
tricky.
demand these days.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Am I sharing the right tab? Am I sharing photos?
We're waiting for the next lot of pictures, and it's all airplanes. Can we, get to the...
Well, yeah, but what I did want to comment on was how sparse the flight over was in terms of population. So, right, basically, when you start flying from here, Claire, right, you enter Canada here, and then you fly across Canada, and then these top states of America, and then down towards Las Vegas. You basically see almost no civilization the entire way.
Fly
Literally.
over country, as they call it.
It's worse than that. It's just desolate. Magnificent desolation is all it is. It's just... This continent is completely unpopulated. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but there's literally nothing down there. It's just like 6 hours of flying over nothing. There's nobody down there. There's an occasional dirt road like you see here, and then you might see like a couple of I guess what they're, shacks or an RV park or something. So yeah.
What's this Yellowknife and all these sort of strange areas that I saw being marked out on the map? Yellowknife? What's that?
I've no idea.
Okay.
I've no idea. But essentially, when you fly over here, the plane journey goes over Greenland. I think it attempts to take. Obviously, it's going over the curve of the Earth, so it's not a straight line that you take. Again, flat Earth debunked. But it also is taking like a route over land. I think that is part of the plane journey ride. So you go over land in case something happens and you have to try and land somewhere.
Oh, Yellowknife is a city. Yeah, oh, right, I get it. Whitehorse is a city and Anchorage is a city.
And then you fly down the coast of Canada and then make a beeline straight down from where the plane is there, kind of in the direction of where Seattle is on the bottom left-hand line. And that entire region, there's nobody living there. There's nobody there. So it's just absolutely desolate land. It's crazy. So yeah. Anyway, this was landing in Vegas here. You can see the Las Vegas Strip as you land.
I think that's Caesar's Palace, right? Is that Caesar's
The
Palace?
pyramid. The pyramid is the Luxor, which is a two-third size replica of the Great Pyramid in Egypt, and it's all themed Egyptian. This one on the left here, this is the Mandalay Bay, the one where that guy shot people out of the top floor of, who were at a concert in 2017. So, yeah. But it doesn't look like... The one thing about Vegas is when you fly in there, you fly in and you've flown over nothing, it's just desolate. Vegas is just in the middle of a desert. And you look out of the plane window and you think, is that it? Is that it? It looks so small from the plane window. And you're thinking, whoa, where the hell have I come here? Is that all that I'm going to see? But yeah, anyway. It gets a lot bigger when you get closer, of course. Yeah. Excuse me. This was a car I hired and I drove around, which was a RAV4, a Toyota, very exciting. Never driven a car like that.
hopefully they'll get some of those showers.
This was the weather report whilst I was there.
Some thunderstorms. For us, we're just getting a lot of sunshine as high pressure starts to rebuild. 104 sunny and hotter today.
This might be a video that I recorded to send to somebody.
And again, the summer solstice officially at 1:50 p.m. The sun will be at its northernmost point on the horizon when it rises this morning, and it will be the highest in the sky at noon.
Anyway, yeah. So I was there for the summer solstice, which I didn't realise. And of course, they're having a heat wave right now, aren't they? So then I'm in Vegas, Claire.
And there's the
very
Eiffel
exciting.
Tower.
Yeah, it's a weird place because each hotel is themed around a specific thing, and so this hotel is the Paris Hotel, and it has a replica of the Eiffel Tower outside, which you can go up. I didn't go up it, but yeah. Where are we? Oh, this is the most one of the most interesting things I thought whilst I was there. How expensive everything was over in America.
They have to lock it in cabinets.
It's
And
even
it's just men's
shampoo.
toiletries.
This is just bog standard shampoo that in the United Kingdom costs like £1.50 or something for a bottle of men's shampoo, and in America it's $10 and it's behind a glass case, and you have to push a button for somebody to come open that and put it in your basket for you.
Crikey.
So I did try to look. You see, there's been these memes on, or these exposés on TikTok of people saying that it's just like black women's stuff that is locked behind these cases, but that's not true, as you can see here. It's very basic stuff that's locked up. Yeah. It really is an impressive place. And very clean. This is one of the casino where I was staying. Of course, playing on a slot machine.
Did you win anything?
Yeah, I won a few times. Obviously, I'm not interested in gambling at all, actually. So I find it boring, and I don't like losing. And of course, you lose 90% of the time, and then you'll have a win. And to my ADHD, that's very upsetting. I quickly don't like it. So I'm not very interested in gambling, but I decided I took an amount of money with me just to join in and have some fun without the intention of winning. And I spent about half of that money. I came back down in the end, basically, but I'd planned to waste a lot more, so I came back with about half of what I'd put aside just to take there, basically. Which I think is a positive. I did well. Yeah. But you do lots of losing, and then you'll suddenly just get a big win. But I get bored of it easily. I'm not that interested. This was the first hotel where I stayed.
You stayed in more than one?
I did, yes. Because we did a little trip in the middle, which we'll get to. So I booked 6 nights in Planet Hollywood, and then we took a trip out. Oh, I saw one of these. What is it called? A Cybertruck, one of Elon Musk's things.
It doesn't look very pretty.
No, I was shocked at what an eyesore this thing was. It is not impressive in real life at all. It looks
It looks terrible.
Absolutely, it looks stupid.
You just want to
Yeah.
rub your eyes, like, it is, some bad drawing or something.
Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. Being driven by a black guy, of course. But yeah. This is a very big TV screen that I was impressed by. Big flag in the desert. At a shop called Big Boy.
What,
This
just
was
what size people is it? For fat
it's
people?
what?
Big boys,
Probably, yeah.
fat people, is it?
I've no idea. I
Oh,
don't
you never
know.
went in. Okay.
No. I was just really impressed by the size of this enormous flag. This flag must have been what, like, I don't know, 25 foot of something. Enormous statement of American imperialism. This was in the middle of Death Valley. We took a drive into Death Valley.
What's in Death Valley?
Nothing. Literally nothing. There's actually literally skulls at the side of the road of what I assume are the coyotes or something. Literally, as you see in movies, you'll occasionally see the skull of a small animal that's white and been eaten, been there for like, I don't know, years or something. So, but yeah, it was incredibly hot. I remember Elliot Blatt saying before I went that I was making a terrible mistake, or something to that effect. But I loved it. I thought it was incredible. I would not have wanted to experience the desert, the Nevada desert, in any other way except in blistering glory, basically.
And Death Valley's in California, isn't it?
So it's between Nevada and, I think they share it.
Yes. It's in both states.
Because Las Vegas is in the middle of nowhere. It's right in the middle of the desert, and either side of it for hundreds of miles is just desert. And the direction, say for instance, if you were driving towards Los Angeles from Las Vegas, I think is in between is Death Valley. And 100 miles into it is this place called Furnace Creek, where they just have a visitor center, a thermometer in the middle of the desert, and a toilet. And yeah, and it's a scam basically, because you have to pay $25 just to drive into this place because it's a national park. And I could have got away without spending those $25 because nobody checks, but there's signs at the side of the road telling you that you have to stop and pay. So we stopped and paid at this electronic machine, which prints you out a ticket, and then nobody ever checks it. So I was regretting that decision for being an honest
Brit.
man. Yeah. Think looking around all. No offense, but like all the, other people who were there thinking, well, you would have paid, obviously. I'm paying for your trip too, that kind of thing. But anyway, I used the toilet, so I got my money's worth out of it, and it was 110, which I think is the hottest I've experienced. They have literal sand dunes there as well, so it's actual desert, not just scrubland. And then they have things like this that you'll be driving for like 50 miles, and then you'll just come across, I don't know what this is, but like a little community, and they'll have like
just like in those cowboy movies.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's been put there as like a display, but So I don't know how real it is, but anyway, they'll just have like a little community in the middle of nowhere with a couple of houses around a gas station, and then some like shit from the past here, which is
Well,
interesting.
it's supposed to be a village in California
What this?
called
Have
a
you just
way
looked up?
station.
Have you just
I'm not
looked
sure
up
what
stovepipe wells?
Yes. So I'm not quite sure what a way station is.
It's
I guess
literally
it means
just a gas. There's just a gas
nothing there.
station and a few houses. That's it. That's literally all there was there. A gas station with a shop that you can buy some, an ice cream. I think you could buy, or a packet of crisps. Fill up your car, and then that was it for another 100 miles or something.
Yeah, it used to be part of a mining community. I guess they were looking for gold or something.
Yes. Hence the
gold rush.
yeah. But it's cool to see. I mean, it's cool to see this kind of stuff. This is kind of the vibe that you want when you're out in the middle of nowhere. Because there's this kind of vibe, which is Las Vegas, which is a Disneyland, effectively, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Las Vegas is a manufactured Disneyland for people to go and spend lots of money and be safe and be a tourist. And it was incredibly clean. One of the things that I noticed was it's incredibly clean. Every single morning, there are people out there cleaning these streets. They're all Hispanic, by the way. Everybody who works there. This place is run on Hispanic labor. Mm-hmm. I don't know what America would... It's going to be a controversial take. I don't know what America would do without it. I have become aware of this now. This place is run on Hispanic labor. They do all the menial jobs everywhere. They clean the streets. They polish the windows. They clean the hotel rooms. They work in the McDonald's. They do all the shit jobs everywhere. These people are the oil that's keeping this engine running, effectively. Mm-hmm. But what was I saying? It's incredibly well maintained. This place runs like clockwork, and I mean, the Vegas Strip is huge. I think it's like, I looked at my phone, how far every morning, not every morning, but most mornings, I ran up and down the Strip. So I'd get up before it got too hot, and I'd do a run either northwards or southwards, and then I'd get an Uber back, essentially. Mm-hmm. And because of this, I got to see like the workforce out every morning, like making sure that the place was spotless. No, I don't know where I was going with that diatribe, but let me just come back and look at the chat, see what anybody's been saying.
Well, the population is 23% Hispanic in Las Vegas, if you're interested in that. It's 58% white, 10% black, 23% Hispanic. In case anybody's interested.
Yes. Well, that's interesting then, those demographics, because of course all I saw was the Disneyland part of Las Vegas, that is the Las Vegas Strip, which is this 2-mile area with all the hotels on it, basically, all in a big line, all on one road. That's basically all you go and look at when you're in Las Vegas. You visit hotels on the Strip. Each hotel is a casino. It's free to walk in there and go around, and they're just fascinating to see. each day you'll go and look at a couple of different places of this, and like the Mirage here has a massive waterfall, and each one is themed in different ways, and you just hang out and it's super hot, and so by the time you've just spent like an hour looking around, you're ready for a drink or something to eat, and so you find somewhere to eat or drink, and then you'll go and have a look at another one and just mill around and things like that. It was a fascinating place just to look around, basically. Anyway, I see that, what are people saying? RCW says too hot. I loved it as a visitor, of course. I'm not used to this, so I loved it. I know if you live out there, of course, it can be too much. You're like, I'm sick of this shit. I want it to be like the UK or whatever. But if I was saying to somebody the other day, here in the UK, if we have wet and windy, cold winters, and then we have a summer like we're having now, which is wet and cold, it's like, do we never get a break? I mean, what the fuck? Jay Walker says, look up Evan Tanner, a UFC fighter who went for a trip in the desert and died in the 118 degrees heat 2 miles from where he set off. Wow, I will. Evan Tanner, I will look that up. Yeah, I imagine you can die pretty quickly out there. A UFC fighter, though, that is surprising. Because one of the things I thought was, I imagine that this is much worse if, and no offense to anybody, but if you're fat. Obviously, I don't have any weight on me. And I was wondering if that's why I thought that, I kind of felt like I was thriving in it. I get up, I go for a run on the morning, and it was already like 33 degrees. And by the time I'd finished my run, it was like 38 already. It was like 9:30 on the morning, and already like starting to approach like 100 degrees. And then I get my Uber back, and I thought, well, maybe this is just much worse if you're like a porker and carrying around a load of blubber. But anyway. Yeah. So look, it's a magnificent Disneyland place. This is the other hotel that I stayed in, Treasure Island, which I should have stayed in the first place because it has free parking at the Treasure Island, but the other hotel screwed me for $40 a day to park. Here, of course, is Trump's hotel.
You should have gone there.
I did go there, but here's the thing. There's nothing. Whoa, you mean to stay there?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. There's nothing to see at the Trump Hotel.
Oh, right.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, it doesn't have a pyramid or whatever.
No, it's just the hotel. There's no casino. It's a non-gaming hotel. And so it's literally just a hotel. So you walk in, and where each of these other hotels, when you walk in the front door, it's a casino, and then they'll have lots of other things. They have theatres and all kinds of different attractions on the ground level. This one is just a hotel lobby, and then
right. Was it much cheaper than the others then? Because
no, it's an expensive hotel.
Right.
So maybe that's part of it, exclusivity or something. You don't get the riffraff in there, perhaps. Anyway, this is the Las Vegas Sphere, which is one of the new things that it's just off the strip, and that is obviously a spherical building that is entirely a TV screen. So,
Did you see any shows in that sphere?
no, I did not go inside it because the only thing that it was playing in it is a climate change propaganda movie that you have to pay $70 to go and watch.
Crikey.
So I thought, fuck that, I'm not going. But it's an auditorium, and the outside is an entire TV screen, and then inside it's seating, and they show like movies and things in there. The next one you'll be interested in here, Claire. Let's go. Where is it? Okay. These were plastered all over Las Vegas. The
Seventh-day Adventists?
I don't know. I'm not sure what they are, but 100 Bible facts on the Sabbath question. They look like Seventh-day Adventists then, don't they? Yeah. But because effectively I was going around doing my running on a morning, I got to see this kind of stuff before it was all cleared away for the tourists, because somebody would obviously come. Basically, these people were going around sticking all this shit up and then following them around with the people taking it all down and clearing it away.
Oh, right. Yeah, there is a Seventh-day Adventist church at Mountain View. Maybe you've heard of Mountain View? So,
no. God sees you now. Call or email for prayer at gatheringtheharvest@aol.com. Wow, this is some old boomer, isn't it? Still with an AOL account. Anyway. Oh, I was watching the UFC.
I think there's only one Seventh-day Adventist church anyway, and it's called Mountain View.
I thought they were mainly Australian just because of Luke.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of, Luke as well.
Yeah. This is, of course, me having to go on a slot machine. This is me feeding the pigeons out there. I felt sorry for the birds in that heat. I don't know how they managed to walk around on the floor without any shoes on. Whoops. This is actually interesting. Wasn't just taking a photo of that for obvious reasons. What I was amazed at in Las Vegas is that objective beauty is still celebrated. Okay. And it's not just the fact that they have, like, I don't know, a nudie calendar to sell in a shop. But, well, this next video is going to disagree with this. But, so I'll just make my point. Maybe I shouldn't have that on the screen too long for the...
Oh, so it was a nudie calendar, what you just showed
I don't know. I didn't look through it. I wasn't so...
Okay.
I didn't want to draw attention to myself, but that was just an example of. I could have shown much more examples of just like billboards, advertisements everywhere. They were not ashamed of using beautiful women to sell things and put things up. There were none of these like new woke adverts that you see, like fat people or obviously ugly people attempting to sell underwear or things like that. None of that was on show whatsoever anywhere in Las Vegas. It was absolutely stunning, beautiful women being used to sell goods and services. And I was quite shocked about this. I didn't see a single aspect of wokery, of woke stuff in Vegas anywhere. This is that black woman that you you mentioned.
Yes, with a fan.
Yes, which was quite shocking to me, because this was the hotel I was staying in, and none of this was going on the Wednesday. None of this was going on in the Thursday. But on Friday, when you came downstairs, everything was different. The entire atmosphere was different. On the tables were dancing girls. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? This is a
So
completely
this was a
different
hotel
vibe.
lobby. Is that what you're saying? It's a hotel lobby?
The casino is the hotel lobby, yes. And
Right,
anybody
right.
can walk in here. Families are walking around with their children. You basically have to go if you've booked to stay in the Planet Hollywood Hotel, you walk past this to get to your room
Right.
with your children.
Yes. You don't want to
Oh, here's
end
that.
up like her,
Go,
my daughter. Oh, yes.
yeah. Here's that advert that they were playing. Did I show you this? I shared this one, didn't I?
I don't remember.
He's been convicted of 34 felonies, found
Oh,
liable
yes.
for sexual assault, and he committed financial fraud. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's been working, lowering healthcare costs and making big corporations pay their fair share. This election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for your family. I'm Joe Biden. I'm an incumbent.
Yeah.
That's a nice picture of him. Of Trump, I mean, looking,
Oh,
purposeful and manly.
yeah.
He's been convicted.
Yeah. Oh, that one.
Well, now
Is that the one?
they're saying yes. No, the one with him sort of wearing the suit at the beginning.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, this will appeal to like everybody says, this will appeal to like the black voters, won't it? They're like, oh shit, man, he's like one of us.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
That's a kind of superhero look,
Yeah.
which I'm surprised they use because it actually makes him look, really good. Yeah, and now they're trying to get rid of Biden. They're trying to prize the presidency from his hot little hands.
Yes, they are, which is really surprising to me. Really surprising.
Well, Caleb Morpin was saying it's very unusual to have, a presidential debate so early in the, in June because they usually wait until everybody's been properly nominated and whatever. So I guess the reason is they want to get rid of him because they don't think he's going to win against Trump. But then who's going to win against Trump? I can't think of anyone.
Well, somebody like Michelle Obama might win. Okay.
No, really?
Well, we don't know. We don't know. You have
Because
to think. Go on.
Well,
What's your thought?
I'm just saying, I don't think they even know what they're doing. They're just sort of flailing around from desperate plot to desperate scheme, and they don't know what they're doing. And I think that's even more concerning than if we thought there was some, dastardly plot that we can, whose purpose we can't foresee. And it makes me think like, oh, we just don't know what to do with about anything anymore. Let's start, World War III and blow the whole shit up and never have to worry about a thing again. Well, I think that's how they're thinking now.
Did you watch the debate?
Yes, I did. And
Did
you
you?
didn't even have to listen to, all you had to do was look at Biden, on silent, and you'd know who had won, just from the
Well, that's an
expression on the
interesting.
faces.
Yes, that's an interesting point. My takeaway right from it was that I don't think he was much different to what I expected. That just seemed like the Joe Biden that I'd seen.
That you'd always
you know-
known for the last 4 years.
Yeah, I watched this live in the Treasure Island hotel room. Okay, I was in the hotel room. It was on about something like 4 p.m. over there, so I was just back at or 6 p.m. I was just back at the hotel, before going out again for the night. So I remembered I want to watch this live, so we were there, and I was not shocked at the time watching it. I thought, oh yeah, Trump obviously got the better of him, but that's just Joe Biden, and I thought obviously Trump was obviously going to make the better of it. I think the thing that made everybody else who hadn't realised it was the vacant stare and like the black glassy eyes and staring off into the distance. There's just this look that somebody who has when they've gone over that edge of obvious dementia, they have this look in their face, don't they? That speaks 1,000 words, much more than anything else. And there were a few times when he really had that look on his face, that deer in the headlights look. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And he seemed to lose the ability to blink. And you know, somebody analysed it. It's like, yeah, he stopped blinking for, 40 seconds, And that's
Right.
and that was what caused that glazed look.
That could be the drugs as well, because I'm sure they will have given him some Adderall or something. But yeah, at the time, I wasn't shocked. So it took me by surprise, the reaction that came kind of quickly after this from the establishment to the effect that I was questioning, well, is this like a setup? Have they set this up? Is this some kind of setup? Like all the media were in it. We're going, right, it's going to get up on there. We don't want him to be the nominee anymore. And therefore, this is going to be our moment where we can all say, okay, now our eyes have been opened up. Like all together from that moment, that we're going to use that as an inflection point. Mm-hmm. And to me, it wasn't as bad as what everybody was making out.
Yeah, it's like suddenly, after 4 years, people noticed he was senile. And they can't stop going on about it. It's like, he's not any different to how he was. Yeah.
No, we all noticed this years ago. So, to me, there feels like there's something suspicious about it. Or like it's a manufactured response, like say we've all got together and decided, right, we want somebody else to be the nominee, so now we're going to use this as the inflection point, and then it all happened at once. In any case, I'm suspicious about it whenever the mainstream media, the liberal media, all suddenly have a come to Jesus moment and are saying the obvious truth. Like all in chorus, when they've been hiding it and complicit and, all together for the last 4 years. I mean, what the fuck is actually going on?
Yeah, and for a long time, well, I hadn't listened to the Today program for a long time, but I did make a point of listening to it after the debate, and it was Michelle Hussein pretending to be, so shocked, and and there were all these sort of American voices from the Democrats saying, "Oh, it's time for him to go." Really, it seems kind of obvious now.
So yeah, do you think they'll get rid of him? What's your gut instinct?
I suppose he will eventually go, but I mean, the story is that his wife and his sister have gotten too used to being in the White House, and they want him to carry on, for a few more months at least, just to, say he served his full term, And I guess they're saying, well, why can't he serve on, this full term?
Well, he could still serve out his term, but just say, I'm not going to run again. I'm going to let somebody younger be the nominee for next time and still serve out his term effectively with dignity. In fact, I think that's the best case scenario that all these people want to happen now, who are pushing for him to go.
Well, apparently his, close circle of advisors are getting smaller and smaller because he will kick out anybody who tells him things he doesn't want to hear, or his women will. So, it's a kind of echo chamber. And apparently he has a very bad temper, and people are afraid of him because he shouts and swears at them.
Yeah.
And oh yes, and Caleb Maupin, he managed to. Okay, I wasn't watching it properly. I was sort of half listening and doing other stuff, but he managed to curate the snarl when he was having a go at Trump, and and he was saying, well, that doesn't look very presidential. That snarl, and he showed it a few times. So that was quite good.
He did show that. He has two modes, doesn't he? He has the whispering old grandpa mode, and then like the angry grandpa mode, and he can switch between the two really quickly. And it looks jarring when he does that because the two are so different.
Yes. Yes, and people should be afraid, that the mask slips so easily, right?
That I do know as well. That is in a way that is a sign of dementia that I've seen in an old relative too. How in 1 minute they're a certain personality, and then boom, they're like this angry shouting type. I've witnessed that personally. But I think it's fascinating. Like I said, I think there's some shenanigans going on. My initial take was going to be, no, they probably won't replace him, and he will be like the leader of the Democrat Titanic to take them into a loss, very similar to Rishi Sunak, how he did with the Conservative Party. Everybody could see it coming. We were talking about it for months, and then he did it anyway. And they never steered. Everybody's telling them it was going to happen. We could all see it coming, and they just let Rishi Sunak drive right ahead into the iceberg. And my initial take was they're going to let Joe Biden do that. Sometimes when you just can't see the wood for the trees. And if Rishi Sunak and the Conservative Party couldn't see it coming, equally so, I imagine the Democrats too could do exactly the same thing. But things have accelerated so much in the last couple of days that I think they are going to replace him now.
Has anything happened today that I've missed?
I saw rumours that his super PAC funding had been put on hold. And of course, yesterday there was the two more gaffes, high profile, where he called his vice president Trump and the president of Ukraine, President Putin.
Oh dear!
And he did that at the NATO summit. So I think things are accelerating really fast now, and they really are working towards replacing him in the background now. So. And of course, Luke Ford has been.
Like Kamala Harris, everybody hates her in the Democrat Party, so it's not even the wider country.
I think
Gavin Newsom is a possibility, so I've heard, but Luke doesn't think much of the theory.
No, I honestly think it could be. We could see like the double team ticket of Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton or something like that. Something wild.
I just don't think they have a chance now. People need to be.
Her and her.
People need to be acclimatized to to these ideas about them running for president, and for those two women to be sprung on them. I think they'll just reject it. Even if they're lifelong Democrat supporters, it's like, what's going on? We smell something fishy.
Trump has his voter base who are going to vote for him either way. The Democrat voter base is going to vote for a Democrat candidate either way. Then there's this blob in the middle who can be appealed to via emotion. So a woman candidate, a black candidate. Basically, if the Democratic ticket can just put up somebody who looks competent, and all the media will rally behind them and say, wow, what a wonderful, diverse and amazing ticket it really is, and oh, it's time for a black woman or something like this. I can imagine it really gathering some steam. I really can. Whether they'll do that or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting anyway. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the holiday. I'll try and run through these quicker. Stop boring everybody. Here's the New York themed hotel. New York, New York. They have a Statue of Liberty, obviously. In the background there, you can see there's a hotel that's themed like that's the Excalibur Hotel. It's themed like it's all knights and that type of thing. Have you heard of the Tropicana Hotel? That is a famous hotel. Hotel Tropicana.
I think that was the one we stayed in when I was there.
Well,
I think
it has
I've
been
got a
torn.
T-shirt too.
Well, it's been torn down.
Yeah, it was.
So,
But it did have a casino and everything. It was just one of the more uninspiring ones.
yeah. So that's been demolished. Here's a view down the strip, looking from where the Tropicana is, back down. There's a
Yeah, I
Paris
sort of
hotel.
remember MGM somewhere around here, right? Something
Yeah,
called-
on the right-hand side. So I think this was the bridge over from New York, New York, possibly over to MGM. You're looking down towards Trump, Paris, Planet Hollywood down there. This was when I did my run up towards the Mandalay Bay. That's the Excalibur Hotel. That's kind of an old hotel. It's quite dated inside. Yeah, there's the MGM. David Copperfield apparently still performs there. He must be old now.
Did you see any shows?
I did not know in the end. They're all so expensive. And you either have to go on your own, which is uninspired, something that it has to be something you really want to go and see if you're going to go on your own, or you have to have agreement between everybody that everybody wants to go and see that thing. So,
And nobody wanted to see a show. Did anybody in your company go and see a show?
no. Well, I forgot to tell you as well. So I was going with me and two mates, and at the last minute, one of my friends brought his new BPD girlfriend with him. So me and my other mate, effectively, we just kind of ditched them two when we got there, and kind of just did our own thing for the 2 weeks.
Sorry,
just met up
what was
with
a BPD? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what this thing you mentioned was.
Bipolar girlfriend.
Oh, right.
She's like a goth. She's like a goth chick who's fucking,
Yeah, I think you have to be BPD to be a goth, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, there's something seriously wrong with her. Yeah. Anyway, the less said about that, the better. But anyway, she ended up tagging along, so that made it kind of a different holiday to what we'd expected. And me and my mate just hung around rather than like the three of us doing stuff, because obviously then, anyway, I didn't want to hang around with, him and his girlfriend, really. We just let them go and do their own thing.
That sounds sensible.
Met up quite a few times and hung out, of course, but they just went off drinking and hitting clubs, basically, which I wasn't ever going to be into anyway. Anyway, there's the New York hotel. That's me on my run. We're going one morning. That's the Luxor, the Egyptian one. That is me pointing at where the guy did that terrorist event from, where he bust out the window of Mandalay Bay and shot out. Oh, here actually as well. I remember this.
From that floor?
Yeah, I think it was somewhere there. I'm just guessing. It's somewhere roughly there. I've just remembered on this day as well, right? For whatever reason, because I've been going running, right, and I've been sweating, then the combination of sun oil and and whatever grime in my watch had turned my arm.
Yeah, it looks like it's bruised.
Yeah, it turned my arm. This was really weird, right? I only realised this later when I got back to the hotel. It was even much worse than this. My entire arm was black. I got black all over my t-shirt and all over my face because I'd wiped my face, and I was completely oblivious to this. And I've been going around looking black anyway. Yeah. So I didn't wear my watch for the rest of the trip. Here you can see that they even have slot machines in the gas stations.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You go to fill up your car with petrol and you play the slot machines. Some random graffiti. Tonight, Jesus comes and it 3:30 a.m. We go there then. Centennial Hillsborough Pines, CT, NY Place, 7517. Then we drive. His punishment is pending, but shall be something and something. Anyway.
Sorry, who wrote that? One of you guys did?
No, just
Just
I
random.
don't know, some
Okay.
random graffiti on the floor, yeah. This is driving back into Las Vegas after having a drive out. It really is just one road in the middle of the desert. And of course then there's obviously the communities that are sprawling. The vast majority of people obviously live in the suburbs. And then there's the Disneyland, which is just like the central part. Here's another example of the entertainment on a Friday and Saturday night.
Is this at your hotel or a different place?
Yeah. No, it's
At your hotel.
at Planet.
Okay.
Yeah, this is at Planet Hollywood. Like I say, it's really surprising that the same hotel, just to walk from your room to go out the door, this is what you pass on a Friday and Saturday night.
I suppose, the parents can say, well, daughter, make sure you don't end up, dancing on tables for money.
Yeah.
Ways
Yes,
of avoiding it.
And son, don't you dare bring something like that home.
Yes.
This was the big win that I had. This was one of the big wins that I had, where I won
nice.
$525 on a slot machine.
Cool.
But I'd put about $80 into it, and then I won that. Oh, here's
you went
another.
profit anyway.
So this is Caesar's Palace, of course, the most famous hotel, I suppose.
It's quite pretty inside, isn't it? Did you go in?
I did. They have what's called the forum shops. You can walk. They have all the shops that they have in these places. They're far too expensive. I don't know what. There's nobody in there buying anything. It's just like Tiffany, Dolce and Gabbana, Rolex, Michael Kors. And you're like, what the fuck? You know, how are they paying the rents for these shops? There's not, you know.
Well, I suppose in theory, if you won a lot of money, you might just, instead of gambling it all away again, buy a few expensive things.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
And of course, there's the high rollers who'll go down there and probably buy their prostitute a Michael Kors handbag and stuff like that. I'm going to take a punt on that being Caesar. Anyway, at some point I was thinking I should make a point at some point in my life to now, once I've been to see the Disneyland version of all this stuff, which is in Las Vegas, the replicas, I should make a point to go and see all the real deals. So like go to Rome, I've been to Paris, I'll never go there ever again. That's like going to Mogadishu, that's a nightmare. But go to Rome, I don't think I'll ever go to Egypt. I'm be satisfied with the Disneyland version of that. But go and visit the authentic versions of some of these places.
Yes, you should certainly go to Rome.
Have you been?
Yes, a few times. And it's sort of nice and compact, you know. It's walkable and very
right,
beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. Can you stay in or in the Vatican, or do you stay outside of the Vatican City?
No. I mean, the Vatican wouldn't have any, accommodation.
Hotels. Okay.
But yes, but I mean, you just walk to it, and of course you have to go and see the Vatican Museum and see, what the Catholic Church looted over the centuries, and it's really quite impressive. So you will see a long queue outside it, but it's.
And did
it's
you
worth it.
see the Sistine Chapel with the famous painting on the ceiling?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it as impressive as it's made out to be?
Well,
A little disappointing.
Well, no. It is worth seeing. I'm just sort of trying to remember my feelings, and it's all mixed up with the the pictures that I've seen, but yes, it's all beautiful, really.
Yeah.
You just sort of walk around thinking, wow, it's so beautiful, and blah, blah, blah. So Rome is a must.
Okay, I'll put that on the bucket list then.
Preferably with a female companion, if you've managed to acquire one.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
just
So it's
so
romantic.
Yes.
Yeah. Unlike Paris, I can't imagine that being romantic at all. The moment that you're in Paris, you're besieged by like Arabic, fucking street sellers and just.
I guess
nightmare.
it was a long time ago when I went, and I had quite a nice experience.
Jay Walker asks, was it going to the Vatican that made you believe in the Trinity?
He's asking me.
Yeah. Anyway, one of the things I was shocked at whilst I was in America was just the amount of injury lawyer stuff that's there. Every other sign is an injury
Ambulance
lawyer.
chaser,
Yes.
Ed Bernstein.
Yeah. Oy vey. And one of the epiphanies I had was that America is like the engine oil of America is injury lawyers and Hispanic ladies, basically, Hispanic women.
Well, you know that in Singapore and Japan, they used to limit the number of lawyers because they correctly predicted that if you have too many lawyers, a lot of them will be ambulance chasers and will eventually
They're
cause for
everywhere.
civilization to collapse.
Yeah, everywhere. You can understand why things are expensive, why there's so many rules and regulations about in places. I mean, when there are people like this just waiting to sue companies everywhere for any
And
kind of mistake or
yes,
infractions.
yes, and I forget which Roman philosopher who said, "The more the laws, the more corrupt the state."
Indeed, yeah.
Yes, Tacitus, I think, said that. So it is kind of a given, really, because the laws are meant
Yeah,
to trip you up and make you pay fines so the government can collect taxes.
yeah. Yeah. I saw a Bitcoin machine in a gas station. The first time I'd ever seen anything like that. Completely new to me.
So how do you do it?
I don't
You
know. I'm guessing you put dollars in, you can buy Bitcoin at this machine,
oh
convert dollars
to
to
pay
Bitcoin.
people to pay people to
Well,
I don't even
there's
know.
not really
Maybe
there's not really any use to Bitcoin. That was how it started. This idea that it would be it would become the new currency. Okay, but it never transformed into that. In fact, it's not really efficient for being a currency. And just because it became the first digital currency, then it's become a store of value. Now, not necessarily a wise store of value because it's so volatile and it's intrinsically backed by nothing except all like the investments of the miners that are put into it. So, but in terms of just being a usable currency, it will never become that. It will never replace that. Certainly not until all the boomers are dead anyway. It just won't do it anyway. It's not as useful as regular currency. But anyway, more lawyers.
crikey.
Oh, whilst I was there, the UFC was, it was actually UFC Fight Week, if Jay's still listening, whilst I was there. And the UFC, I forget which one it was on Saturday night, the one that Conor McGregor was supposed to be fighting in, but he pulled out because he injured his toe. And so I checked whilst I was there how much it would be for a seat to go and watch. It was at the T-Mobile Arena, and the cheap seats were $505,
Wow.
which I was shocked at. So I couldn't go to. I decided I couldn't afford that, so I didn't go to see the UFC either. I'll have another chance, I think, at some other point in my life. So just pass out. I'll tell you what. I was right for about 30 minutes. I was rapidly thinking. Right, who do I know? Who can I call upon from my time in fighting? Who can I call upon? Who has contacts? Who can somehow, get me in cheaper than this? And I was thinking for a little while. So, come on, Stephen, think about it. You're here in Las Vegas. The UFC's in a couple of days' time. Surely there's somebody that you can get in touch with to get you in. And no, I just couldn't come up with anything. So anyway,
UFC stands for what? Ultra something fighting.
sorry, say that.
UFC stands for what?
Ultimate
Ultimate
Fighting
Fighting
Champion.
Championships. Okay. So basically it's MMA, something like that?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it's MMA, mixed martial arts. So Las Vegas transforming on a night. Some, obviously, it's amazing on a night time. If you're impressed with it during the day, it's even more impressive on a night time. Here's the Hispanic workers on a morning going around and making sure that the place is spotless everywhere, cleaning up. All these windows on the bridges get polished and cleaned, and all the flyers and all what, like from the night before, the people like selling tickets to clubs and things, that's all cleared up. The Bible posters and all that kind of stuff all gets cleared away. Yeah. This was on one of our trips out into the desert, where they have a massive solar farm. Which makes sense out there, I'm sure, because the sun is always shining. This was in a gas station.
Did you go to the Grand Canyon?
Not the Grand Canyon, but this was the trip. You know, I said we did 6 days in a hotel, and then we did a trip. Well, this is the place that you see in all the cowboy movies,
Yes, that's right.
which is known as Monument Valley. And this is about it's about 500 miles away. It was like a 6-hour drive, 7-hour drive. And that's the famous view that you see in the John Wayne movies, isn't it?
Yes.
So we decided to drive to these rocks, which was a mental idea, to be honest, but can say that we've seen them now. Yeah. They are impressive.
They
Absolutely.
are.
You wonder how did this get carved out? I still haven't looked it up, because it's quite unlike anything that we have over here, any kind of geology that we have.
Carved by the wind, I seem to remember reading somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, because with the Grand Canyon, it's a water. There's some water involved, erosion. Monument
Anyway,
Valley, Arizona.
It's definitely
Yes.
it's what? Yes, Arizona. This is in an Indian reservation, okay, and everybody who works there is Indian, like in the guest center, and even in you pay to enter, which I think it's an Indian reservation. You pay to enter, so on the drive-through they have a toll booth, and you pay. You have to hand over some money, and they give you a map and tell you that if you turn down this dirt road, then it's a one-way trip, and you go around this mastodon or whatever they call it, this giant rock face thing here. There's like a road around it, and it's a one-way trip, and it's 15 mile an hour top speed limit, and it'll take you like an hour and a half to go around. So we decided to do it. The moment that turned down this dirt road, absolutely regretted it. It's an off-road experience, isn't it? It's oh my god! I thought we were never going to get back. I thought the car was going to end up ruined. I thought, oh my god, what on earth have we turned into here? But we got through it in the end, and it was kind of worth it.
Yeah,
I'm
it
glad.
looks like it's worth it. The fear is also worth it.
Yeah, the majority of people were going on like an organized. Have you seen Jurassic Park, where they take people on the back of like a flatbed truck with a canopy over, driving around, driving around the dinosaurs. Have you seen? You know, like a safari truck.
Yes.
Well, there were those giving guided tours of people down there.
Uh-huh. Right. You would have
But
felt
you could
safer
also,
with that. 4x4s,
yes, yeah,
or SUVs as they call it there.
yeah. But we decided, well, I decided to just drive the rental car down there, didn't I? Anyway, this was visiting the Trump Hotel. They say we did go in it, but there's nothing inside. There's literally just a hotel desk and then a security guard stopping you going up to the lifts unless you're a guest. Oh, there was a gift shop selling Trump hats, but they were $50, so I didn't buy one. There's slot machines in the restaurants too.
In the restaurants. Talk about catering for
Yeah.
addictions.
Yeah, in the gas station and in the restaurant. Which is crazy. There's, of course, the Hispanic...
Chambermaid.
Yeah. Yeah. I saved these from my Chinese food. Some more of Las
What's it?
Vegas on a night.
Fortune cookie, right?
Yes, yeah. That's the sphere lit up on a night, which was cool to see. It's kind of creepy, I suppose.
What is creepy, sorry?
That this is like an eyeball looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you one thing I was disappointed with in Las Vegas, Claire. You know the showgirls that walk around with the feathers. They were not super fit. There's quite a few
And not
disappointments
white.
there.
And not white.
Not
you
all
see.
white. Well, I'm glad you pointed. I was going to withhold that nugget of information, but I'm glad you said that. Yeah, so not white, not all white, and not all there's some chubby ones, some with cellulite asses. It's if you're these girls want like $30 or something for a photograph with them. And they walk around the streets with the feathers in their, however it's done on their back, asking you if you want a photograph. And you take a look and you think, no, Shaniqua, I don't, thank you very much. Yeah. Las Vegas at night, again, is incredibly impressive. I was just blown away by being in this wonderland at night.
Yeah, so colourful.
Yeah. That was the UFC that I was going to go to. I'm glad I didn't in the end because this was over super fast.
But it's more than one fight, right?
Yeah, but the main event was like, no contest. Oh yeah, in the gas. There's more slot machines in the gas station.
They even have slot machines in the gas station.
This was the other trip that we did out into the middle of nowhere. This was actually a highlight of the holiday. We did this trip out into a town called Oatman, Oatman, in Arizona somewhere. And this is a town where They have like feral donkeys that now just live in the town since the days of gold mining or something. And this was like a highlight of the holiday. I loved this. I thought this was fantastic. And these donkeys just like highway
Come up
rob
to you and
you
ask to
on
be
the-
fed.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like you can't enter without being fed, without giving them something. It's really cool.
So you bought some food to give to them at Oatman, right?
Yes, yeah. In the town, they sell food. This has now become a tourist attraction. So they sell food to give to the donkeys. The donkeys now have learned to like stop the cars on the way in and out and refuse to let you go until you fed them, basically.
Right.
But this is also amazingly, I guess it's stylized old now. It's obvious, but you really got the sense of what an actual old town in the middle of the desert in the Wild West was like.
The Trump fans, aren't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Trump. Save America again. Trump 2024, I'll be back. I mean, here's the thing. When you go out of Las Vegas itself to any of these small communities, they are either 100% white or Native American. So,
What do the Native Americans think of Trump? Did you speak to any of them?
no. But, so I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know the answer. I seem to recall still seeing Trump signs in the native areas. But I could be wrong about that. But that's my recollection. But this was great to see a town like this that is, whatever you call it, stylized or still in the same state as in like 100 years ago. Yeah.
We don't dial 911. We have
Yeah.
guns. Starting our corner. Is that where it is? Route 66? It goes through Arizona?
Well, I'm guessing so. Apparently this was a corner of Route 66, yeah. I'm guessing. I don't know. Yeah. And here we are being accosted by said donkeys on the way out.
What did you give it? What food? Carrots?
No, it's like a bag of pellets, dry
Okay.
pellets that you buy there. But yeah, if anything, that I could say this was the highlight of the holiday.
So cute.
Call me crazy. Yeah.
Oh, a body of water. What's that?
This is Lake Mead, which is the lake at the other side of the Hoover Dam. So we had to drive down there, and usually you have to pay $25 again. They screw you on the toll road, but for whatever reason, the toll booth was closed when we got in without paying, which was a win.
Oh,
and there's loads of
lobsters. Yummy. Oh, no.
no, the
not
fish. They're like koi carp.
Koi carp. They're so cute and friendly.
Yeah. And again, another animal that has learnt where it gets its food from. That if tourists will walk by and feed them. So many of them. It's crazy.
Yes, opening their mouths so big.
Yeah.
Feed me.
Yeah. you can see the water level here was much higher at some point. So you can see the white there. Apparently that's where the water was, up here. Oh, you'll like this one.
Destroy marriages since 2012.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're actually advertising it.
Yes. Here's
And you
another
didn't go-
example.
Did you go in? Did you?
No, I
take-
did not. No, I didn't. I know. Here's another example there of, like I say, there seemed to be no woke stuff going on in Las Vegas. This city has no wokeness in there. I saw no
Apart from
gay
the long
stuff.
white dancing girls that you've been complaining about.
There was only that one, and then a couple of black showgirls. I'm okay with that. America has a black population that has been there since, like, the first Europeans went there. Oh, Americans brought over black people with them. They have to live with that, I think, now at this point. So to have one or two like that, wandering around, it's fine. But apart from that, there was literally no other woke stuff whatsoever on show. I didn't see any of it anywhere. I was shocked. This was one of the big takeaways that I came away with. Just how much more woke England and the UK is compared to my experience of America. I've been led to believe by all these Americans that their country is woke central, and I didn't see any of it.
It sounds like you survived on Chinese takeaways when you were in Las Vegas.
Yeah, basically, I think. Yeah, and chicken nuggets. Yeah. Yeah, which is typical of me because I'm not adventurous with food, so I stick to what I know.
Chinese
I
food?
like. Well, it's simple when it's like orange chicken and rice. That's what I eat, or chicken nuggets from, like, McDonald's. You can be kind of certain of what you're going to get if you just stick to some simple things like that. So that's basically what I survived on. Yeah. The Venetian is another in stylized hotel here, and they have these actual
Gondolas
people
and things.
going around in gondolas, which is really weird and cringe. I don't know why anybody would want to get on a boat and do that. I can understand doing it if you go to Venice and do the actual real deal, but not the Disneyland version.
Well, the thing is, in Venice, you wouldn't be allowed to use a gondola. I don't think.
Oh, why not? Why not?
No,
You
because
can
the
pay
gondola
to take a
man wouldn't
ride.
trust you to do it.
Oh no, but that's the taxi in Venice, isn't it? You
Yeah.
you pay a gondola man to take you from one place to another, isn't that right?
Yes, but I think in the Las Vegas one, you get to be the gondolier yourself, isn't that the whole thing, whole idea?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't look into it that
I
much.
thought the fun of it would be to be the gondolier yourself.
Perhaps that's the case. Yeah.
Oh, driverless vehicle. Is that the first time you've seen one?
And yes, it is. Yeah.
What is it? Oh, is it some sort of taxi service?
It's a taxi apparently. Yeah. So, I would have loved to. I would have loved to have gotten one of them. I had a look online, and it said that if you order an Uber, you might get a driverless one in Las Vegas, but I never saw them doing Uber. But I would have jumped in one of those in a heartbeat just for the experience, so I could have videoed it and put it on YouTube. But other than that, yeah, quite dystopian, isn't it?
Was there any discussion about visiting a brothel or two while you were in Nevada?
No. Who between me and my mates?
Yeah.
No, it didn't come up.
Okay.
Essentially, Claire, you don't have to. Okay. When you're walking the strip on a night, okay, after about, what time was it? After it got dark. So, I don't know, about 9 o'clock. If you walk around on the strip after about 9 o'clock, you get a number of offers. Let's put it that way. Girls just coming up to you,
Right.
and it's not explicit. It's not like I'm a prostitute. Do you want this? Do you want that? It's not like that. It's what are you boys up to? You know, what are you boys up to?
Do you fancy a
You can
good
see
time?
Yeah, you can see where it's going to go if you entertain it. And we got that lot, not lots, but enough to, because we weren't wandering around much on a night, or I didn't anyway. This is going to sound really sad, but I was always going for an early night, so I could be up early on the morning.
Go jogging in the morning.
I go, yeah.
Okay. We believe you.
But the times I was out enough. That's why almost all of my photos are during the day. If you've noticed, there's just a few here on a night. But on a night, if you're wandering around, the one you get offered. I didn't get offered any drugs. You get offered. There's guys trying to give you, sell you tickets to go to various clubs and stuff like that. And then there's girls who are coming up to you and obviously offering you the other thing. So, yeah, there's prostitutes working the strip basically. And then that's it. That's the end of the holiday. There we go. That's all my photos. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but the prostitutes you'd have to bring to your hotel room, right?
Yes, or I'm guessing unless they have. I didn't go any further with it. I realised what it was straight away. And said no, effectively.
So did you vote on the 4th of July?
Did you vote?
No,
Go on,
I
you tell
told
me.
everybody to spoil their ballot papers, to say in one voice, to tell representative democracy to fuck off. So I stuck to my guns, and I know you voted Tory or Reform.
Wait. So, did you go and spoil your ballot paper?
No, I couldn't even be bothered to do that.
Oh,
Sorry.
so you didn't in the end then. So
I didn't.
Oh my God! So you didn't stick to your guns in the end. You told people to do one thing and then you did the opposite.
I knew they'd ignore me anyway, so.
Yeah. Okay, I'll admit it. I didn't go and vote either.
Okay. Because you're jet lagged.
Yeah, by the time I got home, it was too late. And plus, I'll admit it, I've said it to a few people in private beforehand, okay? I've talked to a few people already. There's a few people who are already aware that my kind of feelings on the matter were that I wasn't going to bother going and voting because, and I don't, we're 2 hours deep into a stream now, it doesn't matter. This isn't going to go viral. I'm not going to hurt. I'm not going to have a negative impact on people. But my belief about voting is that my individual vote does not matter. I know that in my area, my candidate is not going to win or lose by one vote. Therefore, me actually turning up and wasting 30 minutes of my time on the day is irrelevant. I might as well save those 30 minutes. But expressing that view widely to an audience could have a negative impact, because you could impact tens of thousands of votes if like, for instance, you have a really big platform, or on the off chance the video that you're saying that in went viral, then you could like be responsible for like discouraging thousands of people not to go and vote. So I was careful not to do that, and I also spent time in the run. Anybody who was watching my channel will know that for a couple of months I put some focus into doing political content. I was trying to do the right thing, trying to say what I thought was right and encourage people to do what I thought was the right thing, right up until the point that I knew that the election was lost and that I was going on holiday, and so I just threw in the towel, basically. Yeah. What did you think about the result?
Well, it's predictable because, I guess if you lived long enough, you'll know there's a certain pattern to these elections, and what they do is they make one party seem invulnerable for a bit. I guess it started with Thatcher with her 3 terms, and then, the New Labour with its 3 terms, and it's like, yeah, it's easier for them. We're just going to, big up, one party and say how competent it is, and then give it 15 years, and then we'll do the same to the other side.
So you're suggesting that, are you suggesting that the election itself is rigged?
Yes.
That in an actual systemic way, and that they're just presenting like fake results to us? Or do you think it's rigged like via the media and
Rigged via the
influencing
media,
people?
managing our expectations, manipulating
Okay.
our beliefs.
Okay, I can be on board with that. Yeah, absolutely. Because the media was just telling us for the last year that the Labour Party was going to win by a landslide. And then that's
Yeah,
what happened.
so with that expectation, we will, not bother voting Tory, and or even not even bother voting for Labour. But the marginals. I mean, really, it's a marginal constituency that matters, because people
Yeah.
just don't bother with supermajority constituencies.
Yeah, it is the marginals that matter. Each of the it's basically like the 100 seats that are the two-way fight between Labour and Tory, isn't it? That's where the battle is won,
Yes.
and everywhere else can go to hell. We have these like candidates for life. Like I have a Labour candidate for life, basically. So, yeah, unfortunately, she got back in, and something like 10,000 votes different between her and the Reform candidate who came in second place, or something like that. So it wasn't even close
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah. I mean, people aren't really so apathetic. I mean, I'm saying I'm apathetic. If I were, really, I should have gone and bought my ballot paper because I said it counts. But in America, they can't even do that. They can't even, do
They
what
can't
we
even draw a
can.
dick on it, can they?
Well, because it won't be counted.
Well, no, it's a machine, so you can't go and there's probably no option for I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I remember years ago that this was, what's his name, George Bush, and the other guy. What was his name? Who thought, and everybody thought he won, and it turned out that he didn't. The
Al
environment.
Gore.
That's him. Yes, I can never remember his name, and it was the hanging Chad thing. And I remember reading, I'm sure it was in the Independent, saying, well, it will be a vehicle for voter fraud, and stealing elections. And it turns out to be true.
I saw Elon Musk is recently saying that they need to go back to paper ballots and no mail-in
Yeah.
mail-in voting.
Well, or just, abandon the whole system altogether, really. I mean, it,
Yeah. I mean, mail-in votes have a purpose in that you'll get people who for whatever reason can't get to the polling station on the day, but they're so open to corruption, isn't it? So open to corruption. It's like, certainly like in one way, like in Muslim areas, the mail-in vote for like the wife and the husband and any children of age or whatever is probably just filled in by the husband, and all put in an envelope and posted off.
but you probably weren't following the Iranian elections. I dipped in a few times, and it's like they treat their presidential candidates with far more respect than the Americans treat theirs. They have this stupid format where they're both expected to stand, and they look like it's in some stupid quiz game show, right? It's really colourful,
Right.
and you almost expect there to be some score counter going bing or bong or whatever, or
What, like a debate on television? Is that what you're
yes.
saying?
So the one we saw with
Right.
Biden and Trump, they were just standing there like they were expected to
Yeah.
answer quiz questions. But I noticed with the Iranians, they at least gave their candidates, a chair to sit in, to give
Oh,
them a
okay.
bit more dignity.
Yeah. That's funny now. I hadn't thought about that.
I mean, the Iranians also get excited about their elections. I mean, not that people notice, but I mean, I read the things they say, and it's like, well, you mustn't say rude things about, Imam Khomeini, about the supreme leader, for the
Yeah.
reformist candidate. That to my surprise won, and then I thought, oh, maybe he was always meant to win because all the other candidates were kind of mullah types and very conservative, and it's like, and he was the only reformist candidate, so of course all the votes would be concentrated on him. So it sort of seemed pretty rigged to me, but for some reason on the side of the reformists. So I don't know what's going on in Iran.
Yeah. You're certainly right. Now that you said it, I see it with this format, that you're almost expecting it to be like, and Mr. Trump, for 10 points, what is the capital of Nicaragua?
Yes.
Mr. Biden, it's your chance to steal.
Yes, and oh yes, for this one, there was no live audience. I mean, isn't that
No, there wasn't.
suspicious? No live
And they
audience.
cut the mic. They were cutting the microphones. Only one could speak at a time, weren't they?
Yeah, but then you think, oh, at least that's sensible, because obviously you can't help yourself. When you think the other person's telling lies about you, you have to talk over them.
Do you remember the Hillary and Trump one where they were stood on a stage and he was like prowling around her while they both had a microphone in their hand, and he was like a bear stalking her, walking around going like, because you'll be in jail. Like that was the highlight of. I don't think they'll ever let that happen again, will they? That was so good.
It made me laugh just thinking about it. Lock her up.
Yeah. Oh, I've got it. I've got it here. Let's
Let's watch it again.
remind ourselves of it.
Awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
So good.
Oh, let me find you that snarl thing. If I can find it, I should have been looking at it for it earlier.
Oh, it's not. We don't have to watch Caleb Maupin, though, do we?
No, we're just watching
Oh, good. Good.
Trump snarl. If I can find it.
Biden snarl, you mean?
Yes, sorry, Biden.
Biden snarl didn't come up. Yeah, we need to see a debate just like that Hillary and Trump one. That was perfect, but yeah, they're gonna rig that so that never happens again.
Well, the thing is that they can't rig it enough, isn't it? I mean, that's the problem. Yes, they can, stuff a few ballot boxes, etc. But it's going to be hard if he gets such a majority that they can't actually. I don't think I have it. I don't know how to find it.
Yeah,
Oh well. Never mind.
Yeah, I know what you were saying though. I remember watching it. My takeaway was, wait. No, that's not it. That's not it.
I'll have one more try. Maybe I did.
My takeaway was that it.
Oh, yes.
It wasn't so much as what he said. It was that vacant stare that made people think differently. If it wasn't all.
I can find it now
wasn't
without too much
okay.
trouble.
Okay.
I did timestamp it properly.
What's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those.
Okay, I'm going to put the thing, and then you can play it, and it is in a private chat.
With the COVID.
Oh, maybe I can do it. Okay, present.
Dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
Okay, let's find your link. Oh, you've not put
Okay.
it. You've not done it yet.
I put it in the thing, and it starts at 1:10.
Where have you put it?
1, 2.
I can't see it. If it's a link, it'll need to go in the
Okay.
private chat.
Okay. Okay, I'll just put it in the private chat then, and it's at 1:10.
Okay.
Sources to get rid of poverty.
We got to start getting out there with the people.
Get out of the movement and get to the masses.
1 hour, 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm gonna say, what the heck? You've baited and switched me.
That anger at Trump came out in a way that was very unhealthy.
World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it...
Yeah, I see it. I saw that. Trump, the reason, if anything, like I say, I'm 50% suspicious about the media's reaction, all in concert, turning against Joe Biden after this. I'm very suspicious about it. So I didn't think anything he did was out of the ordinary. But the one thing that you could say that Trump did during this debate was that he very cleverly held it together and just played like a low energy Trump. He just played it down the middle. He played it for par, each thing for par, and allowed Joe Biden to make all the mistakes, so that none of the headlines could be written about Trump doing anything wild or crazy. It was all going to be about Joe Biden.
Yes. Well, the commentary is quite good too, in my view, if you want to carry on playing it a bit more.
From Caleb Maupin, Russian Kremlin shill.
Put it in commercials. We've notified them. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this.
Yeah, that was, I mean, look at what Biden's mouth is doing, towards the end of that. It starts out, he's talking like a normal politician, but then look at his mouth there. That
World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers.
Look at that. Look at that. That's not a presidential facial expression.
My son was
not
a loser.
Yeah, look at the way his face is going here. Like, this is... Oh, yeah, that's... Yeah.
Not a sucker. You're a sucker.
Yeah, look at that. Look at how the clench...
But the thing is, I think lots of the Democrats, this is what they wanted to see. They wanted to see him going for Trump's throat. They want Trump's head on a stick. So I don't think this will turn any of the Democrats off of Joe Biden.
Well, they're going to dethrone him, it seems. That there's already a concerted campaign.
Oh, yeah. I now see the reaction that there's been to it. But I don't think, again, I'm really suspicious about it all. I don't think there was anything so shocking about what he did during that debate.
I don't think so either, but, it's not about what the members of the Democratic Party want. It's really not about them at all. The consultation is only pretend, because a lot of them were really keen on Robert Kennedy, and it's like, no, he's not even going to be in the contest or something. It's like they completely ignored him. Oh yeah, I meant to ask you what you thought about Galloway losing so unexpectedly.
Did you know I streamed with Brutus yesterday? Don't know if you listened to any of that, but we talked about it on there. And the answer is, I don't know why Galloway ended up losing. I'm not a fan of George Galloway. I think he's a twat. I can understand why people wouldn't vote him back in. I think he's self-serving. He's just out for himself. He's literally all for the Muslim vote, and he's literally an agent of foreign people, essentially a third columnist within our midst. But I don't know what happened on the ground for them to flip that constituency back within a matter of 3 months after he won that victory. All I can imagine is they poured money and activists into that constituency and just did what Labour does best, which is to get turn voters out on the day. Like, they can bring activists in from all across the region if they want to, like, focus on a constituency. So I imagine that they just pumped money and resources into flipping that back.
Yes. I discussed it with somebody else, and he was saying the difference can be explained by Labour not supporting the previous candidate in, what was it, November? No, February this year, because he said something anti-Semitic. I think his name was Ayub Khan or something like that. And they, it's like, oh, you said something anti-Semitic. We're not going to support you, and therefore we're going to let George Galloway win. And after he wins, we're going to kick him out and replace him with Paul War, whom I predict will be the Peter Mandelson of, the Starmer administration.
I've never heard of him. What's so special about him?
Oh, well, he used to be the editor of the Huffington Post, etc.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but he's sort of nobody. He's been parachuted in, basically, Paul Wall.
Right.
And I know he blocked me on Twitter, so he's a no good Nick.
Which constituency is it? Is it Rochdale?
Yes.
Ugh. Well, I mean, good luck to him. I can't imagine. I would not want to. There can't be any glory in being the MP for fucking Rochdale, can there? I don't think I'd take it if it was given to me.
No. But, obviously he's parachuted in. He was political editor of HuffPost UK, editor of Politics Home, deputy political editor of The Independent, as well as the London Evening Standard. He also worked for the I newspaper and presented The Week in Westminster for the BBC. So, there you go. He's going to be, the next Peter Mandelson.
These Muslims must just be sheep, then, Claire, if the Labour Party managed to just convince them all to just go and vote for this guy, then.
Well, we don't really know, because if you look at the turnout for this election and the by-election, let me just check it. I was just looking at it the other day. 2024 by-election. So this was on February the 29th, and the Labour, his name was Azhar Ali. The Labour candidate was Azhar Ali, and he got into a spot of bother for making an anti-Semitic comment. Now, what did he say? Let me see. Where can I find it?
It didn't start with gas, did it? Come on.
Something like that.
God forbid. God forbid.
Oh, I can't find his thing now. Yeah, so the previous one was this Sir Tony Lloyd, who died, and that's why. Okay, well, let me see. I mean, I guess these Muslims, I mean, they don't like Jews, and it's easy to get them, saying something anti-Semitic.
Anyway, what did you think? What's your thoughts? Forget all that shit. What's your thoughts then? Now, the Labour Party's in power. We've seen them for 1 week. It's not enough to get a feel for it. But what's your instincts? What are we going to get?
We're going to get conscription. We're going to get more, money being spent on Ukraine. Did you see the NATO advertisement? It was really, really sinister. So it started off. This is something I saw on Twitter. Maybe you can find it. So it was this attractive woman in green, in camouflage, and then that sort of set the scene. Oh, if I join the army, I'm going to meet attractive women like her, and then you see all these men, and then another shot of an attractive woman, in soldier's uniform. So this is the way they're going to deal with the useless eaters in conscription.
Where are you getting this idea that there's going to be conscription from?
Okay, I keep hearing people fearing conscription, and then I saw this really sinister NATO advertisement or propaganda movie. Maybe I can find it for you, and you can maybe see whether you think it's sinister or not.
Well, look, here's the thing, for one. We are an island nation. We would have to really fuck up to end up having to fight a land war with troops against anybody. What are you thinking? That somehow we're going to have to put up troops against Russia at some point for some reason? I mean, I just can't see that ever escalating like that. So I just think these are wild fantasies. This is really, what is it? Disillusionment propaganda. It's just ridiculous.
Okay, now I can't find that video bigging up NATO and saying we have to join NATO because it's so wonderful and it protects our freedoms and shit like that. Maybe I'll find it for you later, but I mean, I think
at the end of the day, we do need NATO at the end of the day, because we only have a tiny army. Look, even you should realise it, right? That we need to be in some kind of military alliance because we're not the powerful country that we once were. We
should just be friends with bloody Russia.
Oh my God!
And get our cheap energy.
The world, even no matter what you think about the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the world isn't that simple, Claire. And
yes, it is. You just want to think. No, you just absorbed the Russophobic propaganda as mother's milk, and you can't get over it. Once upon a time, I used to think like, "Ooh, James Bond and Russia with love and all the blah blah blah." Yeah, well.
Well, I'd say exactly the opposite to you. What you did is you got drip fed dissident right, basically Kremlin propaganda, because the dissident right ended up either by design, by being deployed by Kremlin assets, or just by circumstance of Russia Today and Press TV and these kind of outlets being the only place that they could get any mainstream traction from. They just ended up being sympathetic to Russia, and so you got drip fed the pro-Russia-philic propaganda, because the dissident right ended up being,
here it
like
is.
I say, pro-Russian.
Well, I suppose you would have to think that, but anyway, I'm so pleased I found it on YouTube. You poor thing, you seem to have a cold.
Sorry, I need to blow my nose again, don't I?
Actually, I'll post a link in private.
Yes.
I'll do it in private chat, so you can play it yourself. There we are. It's only 1 minute, 24 seconds.
Okay. Will we get copyright struck for this? That's the
I don't
question.
think so. It's a propaganda video, so they'll be happy that people are sharing it.
Let's do it in small snippets, just in case.
NATO means a future I can look forward to, knowing we are not alone.
Is that the fit girl you're talking about? Well, she doesn't do it for me. It looks like a bloke.
Well, she's a woman of childbearing age.
Means
Okay, I get it. Blonde woman of youth.
supporting our Ukrainian friends in times of need. Slava Ukraini!
Wait, hold on. Is that some kind of... What ethnicity is this guy?
Ukrainian, I guess.
No, he's got a British Army badge on his arm. What's going on?
NATO means our future. Stronger together.
Well, they're right about that.
NATO means protecting each other for the past 75 years and for the years to come.
Canadian. I don't know what that is. Wait, hold on. Is that a tranny as well? She's taller than most of the blokes.
NATO means working side by side, every day, civilian and military, to improve our security.
NATO means celebrating our differences and overcoming challenges together.
NATO means living in a free society and a chance to shape our own future.
I think that's a bloke, don't you?
Could be.
But here's the thing, Claire, right? You have to think, NATO is the strongest military alliance that's around. You'd have to be stupid to take Britain out of it and decide to back a basket case like Russia. Okay.
I don't think that
Even
we're
if
the
you
basket case. We are the basket case.
Russia can't even fucking clean up and win in Ukraine, okay? So, I mean, they'd get spanked if they ended up fucking in a direct conflict with Ukraine, with NATO. It'd go incredibly bad for them very, very quickly. So, and even if you were like a pro-Russian asset, you'd be an absolute fool to give up on like the NATO alliance, even if you thought it was the worst thing in the world, just in terms of a security point of view.
No, if you think the Americans are starting a war on our doorstep.
Look, if America ends up in a war, you would be a
It's
fool
like they don't give a
to end
shit
up on
about us. Why do you think they care about us? They're mad anyway at the moment. Nothing they do makes sense.
Even if that's true, again, my point is, you'd be a fool to end up on the wrong side of America. So, just in terms of a security point of view, as in what's best for you and your country going forward, you need to make sure that you're on the side that America is in a war.
It's time for Europeans to tell America to fuck off out of Europe. Just tell them to go and look after their own country. And if Turkey pulls out of NATO and say, that's it, that's the end of the NATO. And
no. I used to think like this.
You're still into the special relationship thing. The Americans aren't into. Trump wants to leave NATO. Do you understand? Trump will win, and he doesn't want NATO. He's dropping all kinds of hints, like, well, if the Europeans don't want to pay for NATO, they can go jump in the lake. It's like, okay,
Yeah, that's just called the. Claire, he wrote a book called The Art of the Deal where he explained all this. He explains that that's just him playing hardball. He says, look, if you're not going to pay for it, when we're leaving. And so everybody goes, oh. And so everybody goes, holy fuck, suddenly we can find the money. Please don't leave.
No. The thing
knows
is,
the art
Russia
of the
has
deal.
no desire, and it's like Russia has enough territory of its own. It's the best it can do is just get all the different countries that are now independent back into the Russian fold. It hasn't got the resources or the energy to invade Western Europe as you seem to fear. And Germany, if they're being sensible, would like cheap energy to power German industry. But America is saying, ooh, is energy a bit expensive? Come on over to America. This is true. You're just completely discounting the German national interest.
Look, BRICS stands for basket case of really insignificant countries.
Okay, all right. You need to believe in what you need to believe. I understand.
The truth is, here's the truth. No matter what you think, yes, America's done some fucked up things near the grasp of neoconservatism that did all that stuff in the Middle East. Is a stain, really, on America's recent past. But you would be a fool to take your country from being a staunch ally of America, the most powerful nation on the planet, eclipsing all others beyond comparison. Right? To start to walk that path would be the most foolish thing you could do for a little country like ours, in order to join a basket case of fucking Russia, like Venezuela, fucking Cuba, and all this other. I mean, come off it. Come on. I fell for this kind of stupid propaganda years ago as well. I fell for this a few years ago, and then I woke up and I matured, and I realised it's just stupidity.
Well, we shall see, and time will tell. I just don't see any point in allying ourselves to a basket case country who's bent on starting World War III because it will reflect badly on Europeans.
No, and Trump is just doing the art of the deal, to get people to pay, and it worked.
And
the Conservative Party increased commitment to spending to 2.5% of GDP when it was below 2%, until Trump said, look, you guys need to start at least agreeing to the 2%.
No, he's doing a clever thing because he's indicating to Americans that he might pull out of NATO, and he's also giving Europeans a chance to leave NATO if only they would take the hint and say, right, we don't want to pay, so we're off, and then everybody will be happy. Everybody in the whole wide world will be happy, including Americans who don't want any of this anyway.
No,
apart from
NATO,
the neocons.
NATO is also significantly, as I see it. I might be wrong in this, but NATO is great for America too, because it is an umbrella. It is the way that America exerts control. You're admitting it too. Exerts control over European nations. If America broke with NATO, then it would force the remaining NATO countries of Europe to go into the European Defence Pact, to create one exempting America, and then America would lose that influence, because the European countries like Britain and Germany and France and that can't. Our armies aren't strong enough anymore to exist alone. So we need to be in a defensive alliance. Currently, it's NATO, and yes, I agree with you. America, as the hegemon, manages to exert significant control over us and all the others through the umbrella of NATO. But that is good for America. That is in America's strategic interest to have that control. If they give up on that, they lose that and they cede it towards Europe becoming its own thing anyway. So it's a win-win for both sides.
I don't think you're being quite coherent. Americans feel badly served by their government because, well, I've heard so many Americans say, "Oh, we can't even afford to take our children to McDonald's anymore. It's $70 for a family meal. We can't, we can't afford this. We can't afford to go." Blah, blah, blah. So, maybe America needs to look after its own people and stop, bothering about being global hegemon and making itself very unpopular. And maybe Europeans need to finally work out what is best for them. If America is out of the game, when
it's
it
okay.
has to go back and look after.
It's okay it's okay in the short term to start being one of these backseat drivers and what's it called, afternoon quarterbacking or something, to second guessing how America works out its security. Okay, but the idea that it should step
It's
back
not secure.
from-
It can't even stop people coming in from Mexico. Can't even build
I'm
a
talking
wall.
about geostrategic dominance from
Okay, so it's
from
a
being in the
petrodollar.
position where from being in the position where it's got to this point to being safe in that no other country can challenge it militarily, and if the
There
moment
are
that they did, they
costs.
get absolutely spanked.
There are costs to running an empire, and in the end,
Yeah,
Britain gave
they're
it
really,
up.
really high. They're super high. America's cost is super high. The cost of that military is enormous, but it's got an enormous economy, and they have the luxury of existing today in that position where they are the number one global superpower. That is unrivaled. And like I say, you can second guess how they should go about the future, but you're kind of foolish to do that when you're giving up on what's worked. What's worked for America has to go around and spank opponents and keep them pressed down. Okay, and it's worked because currently they are unrivaled, so it's working for them. So what you're saying is they shouldn't do that. They should retreat. They should go back to isolationism and just hope that in 50 years' time there's not like another power willing to come at them.
No, they
Right?
should tidy up their room. That's
David
what
Yorkshire says rubbish. China is
Wait,
number one.
Everybody,
Fuck off,
everybody
David.
tidy up their room.
China doesn't have a deep water navy. So how can they project power if they don't even have a deep water navy?
Because they are the workshop of the world, as this country used to be. Britain used to be the workshop.
Well, we're
of
talking
the
about
world.
something else now. We're talking about economic warfare. That's a different thing.
Well, hopefully there will be no hot war. I mean,
Hopefully,
that's
yeah,
the best case
hopefully.
scenario. So, and we should be telling America to, stop with it starting wars all over the place. We don't
Well,
want
where
it.
has it-
Not on our doorstep. Not in the breadbasket of Europe. We don't want that.
Which war is it starting?
Well, it's already started, the war in Ukraine.
Oh,
Okay, you're going to say,
come
the
on, we're
Russians
gonna
invaded.
go through down this again.
Okay,
Go off.
okay. You have your view, and I mine. So
Who invaded who?
and there will be people
Who spent 6 months dicking around, claiming that they were just doing exercises on the border, denying that they were ever going to invade, saying you're lying, it's not true, these are just exercises. Who did that for 6 months while amassing a military on the border and saying all the opposite things, and then went, whoops, it was an invasion all along, haha. Who did that?
Yes, because the special reasons for calling it, a special military or, operation rather than a declared war, because the UN is saying, "Ooh, if you invade, you're the bad guy." So.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I mean, that's why what things are called certain words that are
Claire,
obviously complicated.
if I go up to somebody and punch them in the nose, I can't say, well, they goaded me into it. And
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because
No, you
actually, in law, provocation is a partial defense to murder. It's just a legal fact. So you can plead that. You can say, "I was so angry, I killed him because," and then you explain what the
Is
murder
this your
victim
defense
did
of
to you.
Russia? Oh my God!
No, I'm just saying
It's
it's
such
it's
a
a partial defense to
bitch
murder.
excuse.
No, or self-defense is a complete defense to murder. So bear that in mind. And okay, you're going to take a different view, but then that there are experts in geopolitics who don't quite agree with you. And we'll see. Well, the whole thing will play out, within our lifetimes, I'm sure.
Wait, hold on. Is David in chat? Is he accusing me of idly fear-mongering? Or is he talking about somebody else? So I'm not the one fear-mongering. I'm the one saying, we don't have to worry. Things are playing out okay. One of the takeaways that I got from going to America was how incredibly well run actually that place is, and how actually, it was the opposite of all the propaganda actually that I'd been consuming. Like I say, I didn't see any woke stuff. I saw very little signs of decay, very little signs of things not working. It seemed to be an absolute juggernaut that was working like at the highest level, and then also to be just together and working in the rural areas too.
Maybe you want to have David Yorkshire on to argue about it. Now, somebody in the chat has called me a Chicom, and I will have Lammy know that I've been selling secular Koranism to the Chinese, and they're quite upset with me about it because they have their problems too, and they know that the answer must be secular Koranism, and they can't get it. Yeah, they do. I've got 3 of them really quite upset with me. So so stop calling me a Chicom, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yes. Well, we'll see.
I've had fun looking at your holiday photos.
Yes. Nudge Unit makes a good point. Stephen's trip to Russia moment. Woke, I don't see any woke here, like Tucker Carlson when he went to Russia and did that stupid trip round a Russian supermarket. I agree. Look, it was in isolation, but I was shocked just to see, obviously, right, one of the shocking things to me was to see, yes, I agree, I was in the heart of like a Disneyland place in the middle of a desert, but I was shocked at just like the high level. Like, you can't say that these are like the most impressive architecture and modernity, not of classical, but of modernity and luxury and stuff that is running there in the middle of the desert. And is being run like on a fucking immigrant labor force, you know, doing all the menial jobs and that, but is running at such a high level in such a fantastic standard. And the other thing as well, I didn't see a single police officer whilst I was in Vegas for 2 weeks, which again is another shock. I didn't see any crime, and I didn't see a single police officer. So it's not like it was being suppressed. Things were just working out there in a weird way. Yeah.
Yes, you should visit Macau, which is I guess the Las Vegas of the Far East. They've got, you know, the same kind of architecture. Macau is near Hong Kong.
Okay.
And it's got a Disneyland there too.
Yeah.
And then
do they speak English?
Yes.
Okay then. Because this was another thing that opened my eyes. Because of course I've been to Thailand. I've been somewhere where it's hot, you know, and stuff, and just, you know, like Phuket, where I was, you know, idealistic beaches and like holiday resort style stuff. I've had that type of stuff, but the one impenetrable aspect of somewhere like Thailand was always the language barrier. Just being immersed somewhere where you just can't do. You're always you know, it's absolute alien, just kind of penetrating into any kind of conversation or culture whatsoever. And that was obviously different to America.
When I was in China I think about five years ago, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, they have quite sophisticated technology. So they speak in their phone in Chinese, in Mandarin, and then it translates it into English, and then you speak into it and it translates it back into to Mandarin. You know, we've never come across that here, but you know, this was a few years ago. So, you know, it's not a problem, and certainly in the major cities you can get by without actually speaking English, even if most people cannot speak English, you know, because they kind of make it easy to order stuff in restaurants because it's pictures and all kinds of, and actually it's in English anyway. A lot of the road signs in Shanghai, and you know, where the toilets are, and all kinds of things. So, but if you're in the area, you can, you know, go to all the other places around it, you know, because you know the culture is so different from, you know, Hong Kong to Kowloon to Macau, and you know, because it's under, you know, a slightly different kind of administration, because Macau was Portuguese to begin with, and Hong Kong and Kowloon have a slightly different history. But anyway, I won't go on. You know, you probably don't want to go anywhere for a while yet, since you still have your jet bag.
Well, it's the expense as well, of course. This one cost me like over a quarter of my salary this trip. So it's just so expensive to go and do holidays like this.
Yes,
it's like,
yes, I can imagine.
It's like, what was it, something like 1,200 quid flights, and then something like, I think the hotel worked out something like £100 a night or £110 a night. But then there's hiring a car, then there's the eating out, then there's doing stuff every day. It just all, there was parking the car at the airport. Everything, at every turn, somebody
wants money from you.
Yes.
Exhausting.
And it's all the little things that you realise when you go on holiday, that you are just like a walking wallet.
Leaking with a hole in it.
Yeah. And everybody is attempting to wring that little bit more out of you. Like, from the moment you walk in the hotel, they're trying to upsell you the room. Well, you're too early to check in, but if you don't want to wait 2 hours, we can give you a room now for an extra $50. And so you're like, oh, I've been on a 12-hour flight, I just need to get in the fucking room, I'll do it. That's another $50 gone. And it's just like this at every turn. there's somebody trying to get money out of you, and it adds up.
Package
so quickly.
holidays, then. Would you consider going on a package holiday?
Well, that might make more sense, but because I've never done one, I'd have to experience it. Maybe I'd have to chance it. What I'd like to know is, do you still end up paying for things on the other side? Because I thought I'd paid for, most of this in advance anyway. But when you get there, like I say, there's somebody wringing more money out of you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the whole point of package holidays is okay, you obviously know, are all the meals included, or just lunch, or or no, you can at least check that out and maybe budget for it. But yes, it can get a bit wearing. My parents just wouldn't travel on their own because it was just so stressful. Oh, what shall we do? And then we argue about it, and and that might. And then we get lost, and it's exciting having a car, but then you get lost and you get scared. Anyway, but I've tried the whole from package to independent traveling, and after a while you just think it's just so horrible not knowing what to do and then feeling you've been ripped off. And you just don't get that peace of mind. But on a package holiday, you might feel like you're just one of many, or just cheap, but then you don't have to think about where to go and what to do, and you just have to toilet stop, or just whatever, and you feel, but another souvenir shop, and because of course they push you through all the things. They're also trying to get money out of you. But at least, if you've never done it before, you might want to try. That's all I'd say.
Yeah, I might think about that. Of course, my next plan, if you remember, I don't know how soon I'm going to think about this, is to maybe go and get the dental tourism done. Go and visit Turkey or something. Plan that into the next thing. Get these 2 teeth done. Which I've been looking at places in Antalya, Turkey, which is like a beach resort over there. So,
well, you might see if there's a nice local girl you could, cultivate a friendship towards. Yes. Yes,
are there many blonde Turks?
Caves or something, which is worth seeing. Cappadocia, I think that's where all those caves are that people used to live in, or still live in. I think they're quite interesting. I haven't been.
It looks a nice place. It looks like again a place built around tourism. So
it's really weird with Turkey. When I was there, you just be wandering, down the street, and you come across a news agent, and you're looking at porn. That was years ago, but when you actually had porn mags, but it was just right in your face, in the middle of the street. Okay, it was on this sort of revolving thing that people used to have to display their magazines. I was astonished, but it was a tourist area, so and most of the tourists were English anyway. So maybe they kind of did it for us.
Yeah, and how many magazines did you buy?
I didn't buy any.
Oh, okay.
But I was just shocked that it was available in the middle, outside the bookshop, newsagent.
Yeah.
Because it's quite sensible. I mean, top shelf mag and that kind of thing. So no, but I think it was a touristy place. I'm sure, in some proper Turkish village, they wouldn't, do that sort of thing. But then, sorry.
I was going to say many of these cultural oddities do just stand out when you're faced with them. But I imagine that for many years. Can you imagine somebody coming over from, in particular, say an Islamic country or something, coming over to the UK for a holiday, say a decade ago, and just going out, buying a newspaper and turning the first page and seeing a big pair of tits.
Yes, yes.
That just used to be the norm.
Yes, a page 3 girl.
How crazy is that? That used to be the norm.
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah. So it's strange how quickly things change, and then you think, wow, that's shocking.
And then it's gone. And then it's gone. You know, it used
Yeah.
to be an institution, right? The page 3 girl, and now they don't do it anymore. Or do they? Well, it's not even called The Sun anymore, is it? Or
The
is it
Sun
called...
is the Sun. Well, it
okay,
was
it's the News of the World that they discontinued because of some defamation
phone hacking scandal. But
Yeah,
I think the Sun used to have page 3. The Daily Star certainly did. News of the World, was it? Did they do it? Daily
It's
Sport.
like
of
there's
course.
no need because we can get porn on our phone for free.
Yeah, but you didn't even have a chance to avoid it. It was literally on the third page of just a regular newspaper. That if you were unaware and you were just picking it up, like imagine being a visitor to this country and you just bought a newspaper. Oh, I'll just go and get an English newspaper, and then wham, in your face, a big pair of double Ds.
Yes. So I was in this I forget even the name of the city, but anyway, I was walking around and there was this this is a nightclub place, and there were all these sort of rather miserable looking but pretty Chinese women, in the window dressed up in Chinese costume and dancing around but looking miserable, and it was like it wasn't even cordoned off. I mean, there isn't a I guess it's more well organized in Amsterdam, because there is a proper red light district, because the atmosphere changes if you move from a non-red light district to the red light district, and then you see all the girls dancing in the shop windows and stuff. But this was kind of in the middle of it. You just come across this, so maybe the Chinese haven't quite got the right idea yet. Because I was thinking, like you saying, what if you were, this Chinese parent and you have your children, and your children, why is that unhappy woman dancing in that unhappy way?
Yeah. David Yorkshire says, "What is wrong with with can't speak, with bare breasts? You see them on any Italian or French beach. Is that true?"
Well, they have nudist beaches, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Well, there are nudist beaches.
I've
And,
never
and
been to
women
a
do
beach
like...
where they have the tits out.
Yes, I'm afraid that has a tendency to happen. In Hampstead, there's a pond for men and women, and I went there once, and you think, oh God, put them away, please. But they were all out, and they were all, of all ages, and of mostly unattractive women, I thought.
Yeah, it's true that, well, most people are unattractive these days. That's a problem. But when you see fit people, it. So there's still other. The good thing is that people who look after themselves stand out more now. I think you have to do less to look better than you used to do. The bar is so much lower. It's surprising that people are having so little sex today, when the bar is so much lower in terms of how little you have to do to like be in the 10% of looks, really, the top 10%, isn't it? Because everybody's so fat and disgusting these days.
Yeah, I think people are just afraid of getting their feelings hurt, after a few times maybe they just get scared. I think it's not worth it with all the free porn they can get on their phone.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, there's lots of people like that. Let me speak to any youth who might listen, who might be listening. Or I did this in one of my videos where, for some reason anyway, I've got quite an older audience, so it probably doesn't apply. But if I do end up in the watchback, if I do have any Zoomers listening, in one of my, on the Musk Maximalist channel, one of my rules for life was to say that you are right now probably the best that you will ever look in your life, because you're only going to age, get older and fatter from this day forward. And therefore, in 10 years' time, no matter what you look like now, in 10 years' time, you'll probably give like a gold bar to get back to where you are now. You would give anything. So make the most of it now with what you've got. Realize you are not as ugly and probably as fat and as disheveled and whatever as you think you are. And in like 20 years' time, you would, if you could, you would like sell a kidney to get back to where you are right now, no matter how badly you put yourself down right now. And try to actualize and remember that and go out and get it.
Yes, and it's not so much good looks. I think it's you have to cultivate your personality and be confident if you're a man.
You do, but you have to have an exceptional personality to be able to win through the looks factor, because you just know when you're attracted to somebody. You know that
I would
within the
tell
first
women
3
to
seconds.
avoid. Yeah, but okay,
Avoid.
men just go by looks. Well, women have to be, more careful. Because, basically, men who know they're attractive are horribly vain creatures. And, and actually a lot of men think, a very beautiful woman is just too high maintenance. And actually very attractive women get upset when nobody believes them that they can't get dates because men are too scared to date them. Because they, A, they assume they're already spoken for, and B, they think they're going to be high maintenance and think they're out of their league.
Yeah. I don't like high maintenance girls either. But there's something about the girls who are putting all their time and effort into beautifying themselves. Also, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because that's like time and energy put into, in a way, quite innocent things. Yes, it's not necessarily good, but in a way it's quite an innocent thing for them to, yes, it's narcissistic and all this kind of stuff. It's vanity and that. But the girls who aren't putting all that, 3 hours a day of effort into that, what else are they doing with that time? They're probably doing something worse with it.
Well, they could be reading a good book or cultivating their, culinary skills or something. But
well, if for mature women, fine. Certainly not. No Zoomer girls are doing that.
Well, it's a well-known recipe. The way through a man's heart is through his stomach. It's a very old wives' tale. Since most people can't be having sex most of the time.
No,
but anyway, I mean, excessive vanity is not a good idea.
Yeah.
So have you been keeping in touch with any lady friends?
Well, I've only been back a week, So the answer is no, really.
Mhm. Well, where do you go to look to find women?
Nowhere.
They
I
come to
don't.
you, I suppose. That's what you're going to say.
No, that doesn't happen either. So it's a bind. I recognise it's a bind because currently it's either going to come through work or nowhere really. This is a problem, you see. I mean, part of why I was competing and into that game is because that was useful for this kind of thing, and it was a no-brainer. It used to attract girls really easily just by being involved in that circuit, by going there, by being the centre of attention and all that kind of stuff. It was just so easy. But now I'm out of all that, so...
Well, you just have to do the 3 adjective game. You have to know what you're looking for, I mean.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, we'll see. Anyway, we'll see. That's for another stream.
Yes.
We've just ticked over 3 hours, so shall we put a bookmark in it, Claire?
Alrighty.
Well, thank you for coming on and looking through my slides of the show. This was a typical post-holiday thing where somebody comes home and makes everybody sit there and look through their holiday photos. So if you stuck with it, wow, you must have a really boring life and you should be doing something better with your Friday night. I'm only joking. It was good to have you here. Claire Cole, what are you doing next that you want to tell anybody about?
Just follow me on Twitter and, all the places you can find me on Linktree. And I'm mostly on Spaces and mostly tweeting, really. I think talking is sometimes too time heavy and not so searchable. But anyway, you all know where to find me and where to find my timestamps. Oh yes, I watched the JP convention. Did you watch any of that?
No, what is the JP convention?
It's the one with Lucas Gage and all the others, which I imagine you're not interested in. But I thought it was quite good. Because there were no women. It was actually all men together saying their thing.
Well, look, here's the thing. I fucking hate that guy. I think he's an absolute meathead. I'm just going to be absolutely honest. I think he deserves everything that he's got. He's just playing an absolute retard online. So I have no sympathy whatsoever. I mean, he was fucking brandishing a machete saying we need to get rid of the fucking Zionists with a machete on Twitter. I mean, I had no sympathy whatsoever for somebody playing such a fucking clown as that. So that's just my opinion. It just does my head in. Absolute fucking meathead.
Yeah, I'm sick
of these people.
What did I say wrong? I didn't, promote violence and all that. But yeah, it's all between the lines. But he made a rip-roaring speech, if you like that kind of thing, on his channel on Rumble.
No, I don't.
And
I don't. It's all for attention anyway. Look at me. I'm the most banned person on the internet. These people have been doing this so often. It's the same old playbook. Act up. Get what you deserve. You know what the TOS are. You fucking deliberately do it and then go, oh, look at me. I'm under attack. It's not fair.
I'm more of a victim than the Jews. And the Muslims do it. Oh, well, we're more of a victim. It's like you can't compete against the Jews. Forget it. Find another way of getting at them. Use my way of winning the argument, and not this pathetic competition for victimhood. which, you know, sadly the Muslims have got, you know, are thinking is going to profit them by doing.
I've so little time for any of that crowd on Twitter that is centralised around the Lucas Gage character. Ugh.
Oh,
I don't follow any of them.
Yeah, and I suppose my discussion with E. Michael Jones was a bit too wordy or something. I don't know. Did you see that one?
No, I did not.
On the 4th of July. I mean, I was reading through the latest edition of the Culture Wars magazine, and I think, oh, it's just too many words. It has to be fewer words because people are just so stupid and illiterate now, and they can't read all those words. And I'm finding it hard to read those words and understand all those words. So it needs to be simplified. Yeah. Oh, well, it's been so much fun, Stephen. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I probably couldn't have done it without somebody just there to ask me questions. David York says it's a honey trap for people to get locked up for hate crimes. I often think a lot of that is, certainly that Lucas Gage character. I mean, he's so suspicious to me. Hate to say, I'm just saying what I think. Being honest, he just seems like fucking former military guy now, just going around brandishing a machete, saying like death to the JEWS. I mean, what the fuck is going on? And then saying about I never incite violence. It's unfair. It's not fair. I mean, God forbid. But anyway, what do I know? And then, of course, just before we go, then of course the other flip side of the coin is, but in my libertarian mindset, but I don't think anybody should be in. But who cares if he wants to cut a WWE promo with an Israeli flag? He knows what he was doing. This is the thing. He was cutting that. He's cutting these promos, like you say, wrestling style promo. Basically so he'd get banned and so he can then cry about it. He's probably sending himself pizzas so he can go, look, somebody's sending me pizzas. It's the old playbook.
You don't have to pay for it, do they? If somebody sends you pizzas, I mean, do you get to keep it, or do they take it away?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing: I don't know any pizza shop that will now deliver you a pizza without you paying for it up front. Maybe they still do that in America. What do I know? If you want to be naive and believe that pizza shops just keep delivering unpaid for pizzas to his house, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, Claire, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
See you next time. Thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate you, and we'll see when I start making some videos again. No promises yet. All right. Bye for now.